Fortnite's final goodbye to Chapter 6, you guys, is just around the corner. Now, I can't believe I'm saying this, but we're now just a couple weeks out from the entire end of Fortnite Chapter 6 and the Oninoshima map, and things are finally starting to heat up in terms of the live event and what is happening later on down the road. Throughout this entire chapter, we've had some really wild moments, from really awesome crossovers to a lot of chaos on this map, to be honest, but it hasn't all been smooth sailing, and now we're finally heading into a full-blown storyline live event, the first real one in terms of like a narrative full-scale live event that we have had in literal years, all the way since Collision back in Chapter 3. We've got all types of leaks, some theories, and even a little bit of drama, and today I want to break down everything we know about this finale event and what it means for the future of Fortnite, and you guys trust me, I think we are in for some awesome content coming very, very soon. Now, I'm going to be honest, you guys, I've actually really liked Chapter 6 for the most part. Season 2 really wasn't my favorite, and the mini-season definitely wasn't my favorite, and I know a lot of the community holds the same sentiment. But overall, it has been a pretty enjoyable season with a lot of fun metas and a lot of fun gameplay mechanics, but it's no doubt that it's been one of the weirdest chapters Fortnite has ever done. Not necessarily in a bad way, I just feel like Chapter 6 has been kind of unpredictable besides for, the leaks that we had ahead of time. Now, it kicked off with a full-on Japanese theme, and they totally committed to this throughout. I feel like the entire chapter was pretty committed to this overall. They didn't get rid of all of the POIs from the beginning, and I feel like we've always had that kind of Japanese aesthetic on this map. And then we went through, of course, we had the gold and kind of the high stakes, the sort of, robbery sort of theme, which was really, really interesting and a little bit better than I expected. We had the superhero season, which was one of my favorites, and now we have been hit with a literal bug invasion. But now that we sit here just 2 weeks until the season is over, the bugs are just kind of gone. The POIs are gone, and we've talked about that before. The transition from this full-blown invasion of this foreign entity to a quiet retreat caught a lot of people off guard, especially me. It felt like the story kind of just fizzled out instead of building to something. The only real setup we've had for what's coming was the tentacle monster at the end of last season's mini event, and that's what led to the bug infestation. So for people who've been following the story, and you guys have probably noticed this if you've been watching my videos on the channel, it's felt a little bit lackluster. It was really cool in season 3, but now I really think that Fortnite is gearing up to end the chapter with a bang, and a lot of you guys who are big storyline fans are going to be very, very happy. Now, this next event is going to be a full-scale storyline event. It's going to have an actual playlist, it's going to have a countdown, it's going to have cinematics and interactivity. It's a full-scale thing. You know when Fortnite has a playlist and a countdown for it, that this is going to be something really big. It is the real deal. Now, it's centered around something that we've been waiting for a very long time, something that the entirety of Chapter 6 has been building towards, and that is the huge attack on the Spirit Realm. Now, so that's something that's been teased for a while, but now it's finally front and center. We had the whole dialogue with, Daigo going to the Spirit Realm. Jade, his sister, got abducted by it, and then he had to save her. Things like that. The Spirit Realm has been in our face for such a long time, and we're finally going to attack it to try to get the 0 point shard back from the Dark Presence. Now, Jones and Hope are going to be both involved. They're going to be kind of the front line of this attack. We know for sure that they're going to get voice lines recorded for this, so we'll be hearing from them during the event, which I am actually pretty excited for, because I don't think we've heard a Jones voice line in an event for quite some time now. Now, something really interesting is that this event is going to lead directly into the Simpsons-themed mini-season, which is pretty insane. There's actually supposedly going to be a loading screen right after it with a countdown until the next season, so it's not like we're going to be able to play on the Chapter 6 map for a little bit. This map is supposedly we're going to be leaving it, or it's going to be destroyed right after this event. There's not any gap. This event is the bridge to the next mini-season. It's also going to have some story quests and some map changes that are going to lead up to it. We've already got a new anomaly location for the countdown, and event files are being added in the next update in just a couple of days. As you guys can see here, this is where the event is going to be taking place. There's going to be this kind of anomaly here in the playlist that we're going to be able to interact with before the event in the kind of loading stage, which I think is going to be pretty cool, and I'm really excited to see what they do with it. There's a lot of build-up happening for this behind the scenes. They literally changed this whole top left of the map to make it to where it's kind of risen up a little bit, and I think that's pretty cool. The pieces are slowly falling into place, you guys. And of course, next update in a couple of days, there's going to be a bunch of leaks for this event. So if you guys don't want to hear a ton of leaks or know exactly what is going to happen in this event, stay off of Twitter, stay off of social media, things like that, because it definitely will get spoiled, and try to avoid spoilers in videos as much as possible. But I've seen some people nervous that the Star Wars incorporation is going to hijack the whole thing, and I get it. Based on the leaks, it seems like it'll be handled more like Collision, where it's just kind of a brief flashback or peek into another reality. We saw this scene right here in Collision, and a lot of people are worried because Star Wars is involved in this next event that it'll be too overbearing on the story and, you know, it'll take away from what it actually is. I was also worried about this, and I made a video talking about it, talking about how we could be getting another Star Wars event. I don't think it's going to be like that. Hopefully it's not, but I'm holding out hope that it'll just be a little snippet or a flashback or something like that. We definitely could just see the Star Destroyer or maybe a lightsaber or something like that for 10 seconds. Then boom, we're back to our story or something like that. It's probably just showing what's happening outside the loot bubble or something like that, or giving us a quick tie-in to the kind of like crossover that we had before. Nothing major. I honestly feel like it'd be really cool in this event if they had a flashback of every single season. Like if at some point we find the 0 point shard and we look at it, or there's something like inside of it that shows us the POV of the Dark Presence and we see him how he had been watching us throughout the entire seasons, I think that would be really cool. As long as Fortnite keeps the focus solely on the spirit realm and the characters that we've been following, I think it's going to be fine, and I think it's going to be really good, and I genuinely mean that. Now, like I said before, you guys, this is the first full original storyline event that we have had since Collision back at the end of Chapter 3. Not counting mini events, of course, or crossover finales, we've waited a long time for this. Most recent events have either been mostly, you know, cinematic or super short or something like that, which I do like the cinematics, but I would like some interactivity mixed in there. If you have too much on each side, it can kind of get boring, and a lot of people in the last mini event with the tentacle monster were really upset that Superman just kind of came in and took it over and defeated him really that easily. A lot of people didn't like that. Hopefully they don't do that with Star Wars, fingers crossed. But this one is promising to be more interactive while also still having a good amount of cinematics. And you can already see that with the countdown anomaly that we've seen and the devs kind of pushing build-up quests before it. I think that's going to be really cool. They're pushing this a lot and they've been building towards it throughout the entire of Chapter 6, so hopefully it is really good. Now, something that we've also been looking at since the beginning of this season is the loading screen that shows the crew kind of preparing to head into the spirit realm, and it gives me real kind of like final mission vibes. You know, hopefully we get a perfect combo of high stakes cutscenes and also some live gameplay. This is something that I think would be really cool, is if we're actually able to, as our characters, go and adventure throughout the spirit realm, because the only time we've really seen it is in this short kind of cinematic trailer that we got for Daigo when he was being taken over. I would love to walk around inside of the spirit realm. I'd love to interact with the Dark Presence himself, like talk to him or fight him or something like that. I think that would be really cool. Let me know what you guys think about that down below in the comments. Now, this is the part that has me really curious. What exactly is going to happen at the end of this event? Now, as you guys know, we're going into the spirit realm after the 0 point shard that was stolen by the Dark Presence, but what if we fail or something like that? We've seen Fortnite lean more into alternate realities and chaos lately, so maybe if, you know, Jones and Hope fail to recover the shard, maybe that's what triggers our shift into the Simpsons universe. Like, what if the Dark Presence sees us try to attack him, see us try to, like, you know, try and fail to get it back, and he punishes us by throwing us into this weird alternate world like Springfield as a way to try to trap us in time. I think that would actually be really cool. It'd be a great way for them to keep that kind of like 0 point shard storyline going on, because we're failing, so we're going to have to keep going after it in Chapter 7. That would explain why we're getting such a chaotic mix in the next season. It's been said, you know, the Gref G said that he's been working with Fortnite for the Simpsons season, and he said that there's actually a lot of chaos in it, that it really doesn't make any sense. So I think that would be a great like story explanation. You know, it's better than, you know, like Simpsons, like Homer coming in and just taking us to his reality. I think that really wouldn't make very much sense, as funny as it would be. But overall, you guys, no matter what happens in this event, one thing's for sure, and that is that Chapter 6 is coming to an end. It's been definitely, I feel like, an experimental ride, and while not everyone loved every single second of it, this has definitely been one of the most critiqued chapters that we've ever had. I really respect how Fortnite took some creative risks this time around. They kind of rehashed some of the same ideas, but they did it in a pretty cool, creative way. Hopefully this finale gives us story fans the closure that we need for this kind of spirit realm and 0 point shard finale. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Are you excited for this event, and what would you like to see happen? Let me know. Drop a like on today's video. You watched all the way to the end. You must have enjoyed, so drop a like. Subscribe to the channel. I make videos like these every single day. Use code PROZEROYT, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.